David Miller had lived on the same Mississippi farm his entire life. The land had belonged to his father and grandfather before him. Nothing unusual ever happened there, until the night of October 17th. Around 11:30 p.m., David stepped onto his back porch after hearing his dogs barking wildly. At first, he thought it was coyotes. Then he noticed something strange. The barking had stopped, completely. Every insect, every frog, every sound, gone. The silence felt wrong, as if the entire world had suddenly stopped breathing. Then he saw it, a bright blue light hovering over the far end of his property, about 200 yards away. David stared. The light wasn't attached to anything. It floated silently above the ground, motionless, watching. A cold chill crawled up his spine. He grabbed a flashlight and started walking toward it. The closer he got, the more uneasy he felt. His chest tightened. His hands began shaking. Then the light slowly descended. David froze. Something was landing. The object settled into the field without making a sound. No engine, no wind, no noise whatsoever. Only silence. Terrible silence. The object was shaped like a giant silver disc. Its surface reflected the moonlight like polished metal. David wanted to run, but he couldn't. It felt as if his legs belonged to someone else. Then a section of the craft opened, and 3 figures emerged, tall, thin, gray. Their eyes looked black even in the darkness. The beings began walking toward him, not fast, not slow, deliberately, like they knew he couldn't escape. David's heart hammered so hard, he thought it might burst. Every instinct screamed at him to run, yet he couldn't move. The figures continued approaching, 30 yards, 20 yards, 10 yards. One of them raised its hand. Suddenly, David heard a voice inside his head, not through his ears, inside his mind. Do not resist. Fear exploded through him. He had never felt anything like it. Not when his house caught fire, not during a hurricane, not even at his father's funeral. This was different, ancient, overwhelming, the kind of fear that made a man feel completely helpless. Then a memory flashed into his mind, a sermon from years ago. His pastor had once said, "When you're afraid and don't know what else to do, call on Jesus." David had not been to church in years, but in that moment, he had nothing else. Tears streamed down his face, his voice trembled, and he whispered, "Jesus, help me." The figures stopped, instantly. The voice vanished. The fear loosened its grip. The beings looked at one another. Then David shouted louder, "In the name of Jesus Christ, leave!" The reaction shocked him. The figures recoiled, as if struck by something invisible. The blue light around the craft flickered violently. For the first time, the beings seemed afraid. The air vibrated with a strange humming sound. Then all 3 turned and ran toward the craft. Seconds later, the object shot upward, not gradually, instantly. One moment it was there, the next it vanished into the night sky. The silence broke, crickets chirped, frogs croaked, the world returned. David stood alone in the field, shaking uncontrollably. Years later, he still struggled to explain what happened. Maybe it was something physical. Maybe it was something spiritual. Maybe it was something he would never understand. But one thing remained clear in his memory: the fear, the figures, and the moment everything changed when he called upon the name of Jesus. Because sometimes the most terrifying encounters leave behind the biggest questions, and some questions follow a man for the rest of his life.